I cannot get my car started. Wait a minute. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Manello, thank you so much for being the first one here. There are no prizes, but I'm going to give you a bell. Gwendolyn Daniels, thank you for being second. Connie Balmer! Hey, Connie Balmer. Thank you for being here. Thank you for staying up so late. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you, Elaine Parker, if you're here. Hello, Lydia Washington. Happy Wednesday to you too. Thank you very much. Let me see. I'm gonna scroll. Hark, what is that? There's a wish list? I forgot all about that. Lordy have mercy. Me oh my. I forgot about the wish list. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'll add something to it. You know how embarrassing that wish list is, especially when I get stuff like bells and stuff. Have me all smiling, have all three or four of my teeth showing. But thank you so much for reminding me. I forgot all about that thing. Doggone it. Uh, isn't that the worst acting? Um, anyway, before I get one of those, what do they call those bad movie awards when a movie is just so awful? A raspberry. Well, anyway, before I get a raspberry, let me move on. Shall I? I shall. Okay. Let me see. So I got another screen open so I can see what you all are seeing. Thank you very much. Um, okay, so I am just going to get on with it. Yes, the Razzies. Thank you so much, Black Queen. The Razzie Awards. I think I could get a Razzie. Gosh, that sounds weird. Okay, so the Duke of Sussex declines to respond to royal reporter debate invite. Well, obviously, Harry wasn't going to some crazy stuff like that. I won't even bore you guys with it. Um, but yeah, he was invited to some forum with the Royal Rodent Liars or something like that, as if this man is building wealth for his family. He's making connections. He's a businessman and a leader of the community and such. He's got plenty of things to do besides sitting around with a bunch of gossips. So that little coffee clutch that they're having, they can do that without him. As a matter of fact, they are doing it without him because he's not going. How ridiculous. Um, as a matter of fact, not even just ridiculous, it's embarrassing for them. They ought to know better. Okay, let me see here. But anyway, they had a different photo that they used for him. Yeah, it's actually, let me see. I'm not even going to tell you what paper it's in, but the photo just looks stupid. So I replaced it with those photos. So that is the headline, but that is not actually the photos. The photo that they put, I mean, he still looks good. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just like, you know what? Harry is living his best life. The founder of the Invictus Games, no less, is living his best life out in California. So I decided, and I do this from time to time, and I'll let you know every time I do that. I decided, let me get rid of that ridiculous photo. They have to look really hard to find something to try to make Harry and Meghan look unpleasant, or even worse, to try to make them look unattractive. So I just found something that showed Harry free as the breeze, just lighter than air, and I think it was a good choice. So it says the Duke of Sussex declined to respond to an invite to take part in a debate about the future of the royal reporting. He's not a reporter. Duh. Let me see. The panel, which included royal editors from the Daily Mirror, the Sunday Times, discussed a number of criticisms Harry made about the media. You know, it just kind of makes you think. Let me finish that. The media in his tell-all book, Spare. I'm surprised. Oh, you know what? But this newspaper is not a tabloid, I guess. At least I don't think it is. So maybe that's why they didn't use that. Oh, well, you guys tell me, what is that term they always use for anything that has to do with Harry and Meghan? Um, I'll give you a hint. It sounds like this. Yeah, that thing. So I'm surprised I didn't see that. But okay, maybe this is a fair and balanced piece of journalism, reporting about some pretty unbalanced people. But it looks like Camilla Tominey was there speaking for the Telegraph. Of course, she is the face of the Telegraph, which is tough for me to believe that they. You know what though? You know what? Let me. I thought I might not do any shade today, but let me just say this: if you have something and you need someone to be the face of that particular product, may as well use a face that has more surface space than an aircraft carrier. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you laying down, I would I would compare that to a Nemesis class aircraft carrier in terms of surface space. Oh boy, you know what? I was trying to hold back. I said, you know what? Um, you have been so shady lately. Why why not see if you can pull it back a little bit? And I tried, and then I just saw her name and it triggered me. I feel triggered. So I'm just saying that if you had an aircraft carrier surface like a Nimitz class aircraft carrier, or something of that effect, and you look at the amount of surface areas, and that's including all the painted numbers and the bridge and everything, I am willing to wager you that the surface area of the front of that cranial mass would come close. Okay, I got that out of my system. I'm ready to move. So, as I say, if you need someone to be the face of something, that's a good place to start because, I mean, let's face it, there's a lot of face. Okay, anyway, haven't gotten that out of my system. Let's move on. All right, so Harry is peaceful under trees riding his bike. Not a care in the world. He has a lot of things going on. I wager you he probably works more than those royal reporters do, more than a lot of people I know. And I have deep respect for a man that is hardworking. I mean, not to be sexist about it, but it's just, I don't care how progressive you are. If a man does not have value and worth, if he's not working, then I'm very old fashioned about that. You need to work. You need to keep yourself busy. That's what keeps a man out of trouble, keeps his head on straight. Work. So no one can say Harry does not bring home the bacon. There you go. All right. So, and then there's this National Book Critics Circle for Salon. And if you guys don't remember, Salon magazine was actually supposed to, well, actually, it is still there. It was a liberal magazine, very left wing. And I don't know how they are today. I don't suppose they have been bought out. But just kind of picture the Huffington Post. And that is kind of what you would expect from Salon as I remember it. Now, they have been around for a long time. I'm going to say at least 20 years. So they just never really took off like Huffington Post. Um, but yeah, they have been there for a while. So um, they had an article in Salon. Nell Baram, I guess that's right, wrote an essay about the experience of grief in Prince Harry's Spare in comparison to the grief presented in an Apple TV adaptation of Anne Napolitano, Dear Edward. That's the name of it. It's Dear Edward. Now, if you guys are interested, I actually put a link for it while I was prepping for today. I put a link on the community tab so you could see the preview. But I would imagine you would have to have Apple TV. Some of you may have it already. So if you want to see that movie or even see the preview, all you have to do is go to the link, which was the last thing I posted in the community tab. And there is a, I don't know, maybe 3-minute long preview there. So that way you can figure out what Dear Edward is about. But they say that it has some parallels to Prince Harry. Peace Soul, thank you for being a new member, or becoming a new member, that is, of Royal Sussex. Thank you so much. Still a bargain at just $4.99. Thank you very much for that. I am ever so grateful. Nurse Wife Mother says the BBC wrote an article with William talking about homelessness. He's getting ate up in the comments. They need to focus on that. Well, is it a full moon? Because as you know, William once slept rough with a black man on the streets of London. So I don't know if he still has that same commitment to the issue of homelessness, but I do know that he once slept rough with a black man on the streets of London. So, and apparently he and that black man is still friends today. As a matter of fact, and of course, I'm not just pointing out the fact that this man is black, but this guy came to William's defense when people accused him of being the family racist. And so they went and found this man from over 10 years ago, and they said, "Hey, are you the black man that once slept rough with William on the streets of London?" And of course, that was him. And so that black man that he once slept rough with on the streets of London said that William is no racist. To be fair, I have to tell you that, said that William is no racist. But I tell you what, that is a black man. And they did, they have, and he's black. Okay. So there you go. Thank you so much, Nurse Wife Mother. I'm going to have to check that out. Yeah, so that's what that reminds me of, is the fact that he once slept rough with a black man on the streets of London. Okay. Thank you so much. I tell you, this no shade day is not going well. I promise you, I'm trying to pull this back because there's some very serious issues and topics going on right now, and I want to make sure that I'm in the right frame of mind. Piso says, long-time listener, new-time member. Thank you so much for that. I was today years old when I realized that subscribing to a channel was not the same as joining. Laugh out loud. Thank you so much for pointing that out, P-Soul, and that is true. A subscription means that you can receive a notification and that you are helping the algorithm. But to become a member of the channel means that you are financially helping to support the community. Now, there are many ways to support, and I appreciate all the memberships, and I know sometimes these things can be so expensive for people. Some people may not even have a bank account or a debit card or whatever. So the memberships are just $4.99. If you cannot contribute financially, your likes, your shares, and of course your viewing also helps Royal Sussex immensely. So your comments are part of the community. So don't worry about the money. Just participate, and not just with this platform, but with other Sussex friendly platforms, because without the other platforms, without the other squatties and such, well, there wouldn't be much of a community, and there wouldn't be a Sussex squad. So that's why I say make sure that you hit the like button and support all of the Sussex friendly platforms, because it's very important to the Sussex squad, because you guys, we do so much more than just support Harry and Meghan, as you know. We have been actively part of fundraising and, of course, bringing awareness to other issues and things. So, again, Piso, thank you so much for your membership, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. And happy, what day is today? Wednesday. Oh, yes, it is hump day. Okay. So, yes, thank you very much. I think it was a movie, Grease, that once said, "We go together like scrama lama lama, shadinga ding dong. Remember forever like shoebop shawada wada hippity boom da boom. Change. Okay. Lady Bird says the only time a black man word gets taken at face value is when he defends a white person from a black person who points out their racism. Lady Bird, I tell you what, um, as long as he's carrying the water, and I am speaking of the man that he once slept rough with on the streets of London, as long as he's carrying the water for the royal family, for that institution, for the Tories and the like, he's good as gold. I mean, next thing you know, they're going to report that he walked on water. So you're right about that. It's a certain amount of cachet that comes with defending the royal family, the colonizing institution it is. There, there's a certain level of. I'm surprised that guy has that guy received his OBE or MB. Um, you know, that is coming. I promise you, that's coming. I think he's going to have to stand up for them one more time, and the next thing you know, he'll be knighted or something. He may even get a seat in the parliament or something like that. Yeah, he's going to join the House of Lords. Hey, Lauren Brown. The Royal Court. Okay. Um, Wait, did I watch that today? I think I watched that today. Let me let me see here. The Royal Court. There we go. Wait, and Lauren, you had something that premiered today. I think I was away from my computer at the time, but I think you had something that premiered today. I'll remember to do that later. I'll put that on the top of the chat. Okay, so oh, you guys, let me get back to Dear Edward. Let me see here. I know I wasn't supposed to, but the second time I watched the emotionally disemboweling, bowingly, that's a weird way to describe it, prestige weeper, Dear Edward, the Apple TV adaptation of Anne Napolitano's best-selling 2020 novel, I thought of Prince Harry. Spare, Harry's memoir, had just come out, and the parallels between the real-life Harry's and the fictional Edward's experience struck me. At age 12, both boys lost their mothers in a crash. Although Edward felt the exponentially larger wallop of losing his entire family in the plane crash, of which he was the sole survivor, Napolitano, an executive producer of the series, has said that her novel was inspired by a real Dutch boy who alone survived a plane crash in 2010. I think I remember that plane crash. So, yeah, the book um, is based on a real life experience. There's more. Both 12-year old boys had one other brother. Both boys received ghoulish media attention following their losses, and both boys indulged in magical thinking to help mitigate their grief. Edward sees and chats with his dead older brother, Jordan. Harry convinced himself that his mother, Diana, Princess of Wales, was only pretending to be dead. Her life's been miserable. She's been hounded, harassed, lied about, lied to. So she's staged an accident as a diversion to run away, of course. And of course, you remember that was the words from Harry in the book Spare. So, anyway, again, the preview is there, and this young boy of 12 years old, the sole survivor of a plane crash, received so much attention, and the grief was so overwhelming, having his world turned upside down at such a young age. Of course, there are parallels. So, anyway, I hope you guys will check it out. I'm considering giving it a go myself. And let's see if it is a series. Yeah, I'll probably do it this weekend, but I do want to see that. Um, hmm. Well, and you know what? It makes me want to research the actual event where the Dutch boy survived the plane crash. I do remember that from a long time ago that someone survived a plane crash. The sole survivor was a child. God, that's got to be a heavy amount of attention, huh? Being the sole survivor of a plane crash. What do they call it? Survivor's remorse, survivor's grief, or something like that. That's got to be a heavy one. Okay, so there you have it. It is called Dear Edward. And then, wait a minute, did I do that twice? Yes. Well, that is the tweet, and that is the salon issue. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't really need this, but that is what was featured in Salon. Was it today? Yes. No, actually, it's from February 26th. I think the article ran February 26th. So there you go. Um, about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Let me see here. I read that article, but I didn't like that they are trying to use Prince Harry to sell an Apple TV series, and I'm not watching because I don't have Apple TV. Well, Donna Black, I think, and of course, this is just my opinion. The idea of childhood grief and how it affects children as they, age and such. That is a topic that has been brought to the fore because of Prince Harry's Spare. More people are talking about it, and I don't see any harm in it. I mean, it's as a matter of fact, I would even dare to say I think Harry would approve of any way you can have that conversation. So I'm going to have to say I think it's a good idea, and I don't see it as them trying to hitch on the wagon of Spare, but Spare has started a lot of conversations, and I can't help but think that's a good thing. Thank you so much for your comment. Elaine Parker, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex, and thank you for being a member. Still a bargain at just $4.99. Okay, and let me see here. Let me go to the next thing. And right there, I finished listening to Spare. Now, mind you, this is a medical doctor and a PhD. So that MD PhD, whose name I covered up for obvious reason, derangers. Anyway, I mean, he did put it out there in public, but guys, I think sometimes people don't realize um, Well, anyway, you guys understand. So I finished listening to Spare. Very powerful and moving and candid, courageous and compassionate. Thank you, Prince Harry, for sharing your journey with your readers. This is my favorite book so far. For what is that? 52 books, 2023. Oh, it must be like a, oh, okay, hashtag. So that means what? A book a week. So there must be people out there who are trying to read. I'm gonna have to hit that hashtag and see if there's more comments about Spare. Okay, there you go. But anyway, just sharing that with you guys. Spare is still red hot. People are still talking about Spare. Harry has done a public service by writing this book. There are going to be so many people that are going to be helped because of unresolved childhood grief. And something that the tabloid press has tried to dismiss as a bunch of gossip and like it's some kind of hatchet job against the royal family. Speaking of someone having received a hatchet job, okay, let me stop. I'm not. I gotta stop. I'm telling you, I'm trying to turn down the shade. And when I think of someone who looked like they've just received a hatchet job, you know I wanted to do this. But I'm not that person today. I got stuff to talk about and things to do, so I can't be bothered with the likes of her. So pardon me while I proceed. Ah, okay. Speaking of hatchet jobs, all right, I got that out of my system. I shall proceed. Kim Peaches, oh, I'm sorry. There it is, just moved. Kim Peaches says childhood loss is very much needed in the forefront. My three grandchildren lost their father, my son, December 2020. Children need to express in their own way and be able to venture through grief. Thank you so much for sharing that, Kim Peaches. Thank you so much. I know it takes a lot, probably because the impact and the grief is probably just beneath the surface at all times. And as we get older, so many of us, um, we lose people as we get older, and that is why with Royal Sussex, I always try to be very aware of what I say and how I say certain things because um, yeah, grief is like a weight, and you just carry it around, and it's like when you're healing from a physical wound. Sometimes you forget that you were ever injured, but unlike a physical wound, that the grief of pain just doesn't subside like that. It comes in waves, it ebbs and flows. So anyway, thank you so much for sharing that with us, and thank you for being here. I really appreciate that. Um, like I said, the Sussex Squad community does so much more than just Megan wore this and Harry said that. It's a lot of things that we have dealt with. So I appreciate everybody. So thank you very much. Let me see here. Uh, oh, Sean, let me see here. Um, Sean says, Baron, I'm on chapter 23 to 28, and it says a lot of how he learned how to get close to people and Willie's smug hatred at that early age. He didn't give a damn about Harry. Well, yeah. That sibling thing, especially when you are struggling to define yourself in this world, when you're struggling to understand the world, and then you have a sibling rivalry, and that feeling that your sibling, you know, despise you or hate you and those kind of feelings, that is super, super painful. And I've experienced that myself. And I tell you, it was not pleasant. It was not pleasant. And it's really interesting too, because you see your sibling one way and the world sees someone else. And so William, I've dealt with William before in my life. I dealt with him before, and it's very confusing, especially when all you want to do is make peace. All you want to do is to be loved and to be a family, and then to be pushed away continuously like that. It is a very, very real thing. So, yeah, thank you so much for sharing that, Sean. Let me see here. Black Queen said, "Oh, that's for Kim Peaches." Um, oh, thank you, Black Queen. Thank you so much for that. Okay. All right. So let's go on then. So right here, you guys, I wanted to share a few things about the Sussexes that doesn't have anything to do with the what do you call it, the coronation, all that kind of stuff. So I figured this was a good place to start for today. So Meghan Markle, August 4th, 1981. Meghan Markle is best known as an actress and now the Duchess of Sussex. When she was younger, she wrote to numerous important people and companies calling out the sexist ad that was airing on TV. She has continuously used her fame to bring attention to the inequities, the inequalities, pardon me, happening in the world. So this is from the Lansdowne Middle School. Lansdowne Middle School. Well, it is Women's History Month. It is still March, Women's History Month. And they actually shared quite a few of these on their Twitter. And there are some big names up there, including our Duchess. And I'm just like, come on. Come on. I mean, a modern day legend, an icon, our Duchess, but we already knew that. It's really important that young women be reminded that their involvement matters and that their voices is heard, even if it feels like it's small. It's it really can make an impact. So, is that a quote? Yeah, I think that is a quote from Megan. Although they didn't put a quotation mark, but I think that is a quote from Megan. Well, it is in quotations. I mean, I'm sorry, it doesn't say, but it sounds like something Megan said. It does have quotation marks, but I don't recall. Let me go back and take a look at that. I don't recall seeing uh, that it was attributed from Megan, but it's with her photos, so I know it is. So never mind. We already know that. So thank you so much, Lansdowne Middle School, for sharing that. And if you guys are curious, where in the world is Lansdowne Middle School? So this is something I love to do, because sometimes when you see something like this and you wonder, well, I wonder what kind of school is that? What kind of community might that be in? I mean, come on, we all want to know, right? So I did a Google search, a Google Maps. Lansdowne Middle School, Baltimore County Public Schools. It is central to a bunch of cul-de-sacs and such. So you can see their football field. I think it's the Lansdowne Tigers is their mascot. But yeah, so it is a suburban community. And I saw some pictures of the faculty and everything. Looks like a cool place to raise your kids. All right, so there you go. That is where that came from. Joey Moore says, Baron, I learned so much about Prince Harry from Spare. I didn't know paparazzi was the cause of Harry in danger during his military time, and his family didn't try to protect him from the paparazzi. No, Harry was not important enough or relevant or vital enough to the mission of the family or the institution that they felt like he needed protection. they gave him the obligatory royal protection officers, but when it came to protecting him as a person, um, as opposed to just protecting him physically, and from what was it Marco? I think the guy Marco was like a surrogate father for him. Um, in spite of the fact that Mummy's butler tries to make out like he was so relevant and important to Harry's development, well, we all know that that was not the case. Um, it's it is heartbreaking, Joy and More. It really is. It breaks my heart um, because we have the image of Diana, this bigger than life person, and then we have a certain emotional connection to the boys, of course. Um, and then the reality sets in that, in spite of all of the wealth and privilege available to that family, the one thing that was missing in Harry's life was a sense of belonging, a sense of importance and relevance. They did not give him that. And you know how it is. Maybe they thought they were doing something, but they didn't. It was very obvious that it's just like a couple of eaglets in a nest. The eaglet that is more aggressive, that can eat more food, eventually tries to push the sibling out of the nest, and the mother sits back and does nothing. And in this case, it's not just the aggression from the sibling, it's the aggression from the tabloid media. So you have predators that aren't going to eat you, but they are going to harass you and try to make you lose your marbles as best they can. Going with that example, that's the big difference is, and of course, let me just say this. I'm going to say that the sibling in that nest is not the stronger one, but I think that the conditioning that Harry had throughout his life, the very I guess, a typical way that he felt as though, okay, I'm not, I can't do these things. I'm not that important. I'm not that smart. I'm not as reliable. And they really did a job on his head. They really indoctrinated him with this idea that he was supposed to serve his brother. How insane is that? They didn't want him to be an individual. And I'm convinced that if Diana had lived through those years that Harry was, you know, a teenager, adolescent, a teenager, I think things would have turned out very different. I think he would have, I not think, I know he would have been better protected. No matter what they say, he would have been better protected. He would have been more sure of himself. Um, but with all of the heat and pressure is how diamonds are made. You take a little piece of coal and you put enough heat and pressure on it, and a diamond comes out of it, the hardest substance in the world. And that's what Harry is. Harry's a diamond. He survived the heat and the pressure, and from that has come something shiny and brilliant and very capable. So oh man, but what a price to pay. Denise Marcus says, "Can you imagine if they had a quote from Kate?" Denise Marcus, I'm trying to behave. I'm trying to behave myself today, and maybe. Oh, I don't know. maybe there is some maybe quote out there, but as I'm trying to behave myself, I just don't want to talk about it right now. Ah! Stop it. Oh man. But yes, as I'm trying to behave myself today, maybe we can maybe talk about it later. How's that? Okay. Maybe be. M- 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 yes, maybe. Okay. Claire Kane's in the house. Hey, Claire. Okay, you guys. Let me see here. Thank you so much, Denise Marcus, for your comment. And let me see, Susie Q. Susie Q, I did a little investigation. I didn't see anything wrong. However, I still got to figure out what to do about that because that is rather strange. And even though I don't think that there's anything nefarious going on, it is kind of strange that anyway. I just hope it doesn't come up as an issue again because we've had, and it's not anything to do with the other Susie Q, right? Or it just has to do with the fact that there have been people trying to pose as long time squatties and that type of confusion. Well, we can't tolerate that. I mean, Susie Q is a member and just like part of the bedrock that makes up the Sussex squad. So we can't have that. So yeah, but so far there's nothing to worry about. So, but if it does become an issue, then we'll handle it. We'll regulate if we have to. But yeah, and I don't want to single out anybody unfairly. It's just we need to be sure about certain things, right? Because so much of what happens here is based on trust, which is why I feel like I have a lot of responsibility because these are some emotional topics and such. And the fact that you guys trust me to do this work is not lost on me at all. So that's why every day I try to bring my A game whenever possible. So Bonnie Mighty says in the spare, somewhere along the lines of the paparazzi would hit him and their cameras would get to get a reaction. Oh, hit him with their cameras. Sorry about that. To get a reaction from their for their papers, right? Um, yeah. And Barney Mighty, if I'm correct, didn't they used to say some really nasty things to Princess Diana? And when I say nasty things, things that you just don't say to a woman, let alone a lady. And they did that to try to get a reaction out of her. And so I think that if they would have gave Diana her space, right? But they didn't want that. They wanted anger and hostility and pushing and grabbing and stuff like that. And they could have passed laws to deal with that, but rather than pass the law, instead of passing a law, they will give an opening to the paparazzi to target certain people, and other people would be left alone in exchange for that. And so, as I have been watching the Lady Sussex on Meghan Markle, a real life Cinderella channel, as I have been watching her, the Lady Sussex has asked the question, who is Camilla? But it's not restricted just to her. It's an entire family. And I guess because Camilla's great great grandmother was in the family way, so to speak, that we should assume that she is known about and she's a known commodity, but that's not true. They have not vetted that family. That family has not been completely vetted the way that they have vetted the Marcos and the way they tried to vet the Raglins. They haven't vetted that family, and they're about to put a crown on that woman's head. So, okay, let me go back here for just a second. And just to get the map off the screen, hey, Mo Shannon, they can't afford much affection in that so called royal family. That would leave no dime for self serving servicing, that is, and backstabbing. All right. Thank you so much, Mo Shannon. And Clara Wyndham, thank you so much for being a member of Royal Sussex. And thank you so much for the super sticker. Greatly appreciated. I see you're using a photo of a royal reporter for your profile picture. Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't say that. I would not want to disparage a sea lion by comparing a sea lion to a royal reporter. But yeah, anyway, it's a very cute profile picture. Thank you so much. Little stuff like that just makes you happy when you see a picture of I think it's a sea lion just sunning himself on a rock like that. Boy, what it must be like to be that free, just out there in nature. Your goal every day is to eat. None of the rat race stuff that we have to go through. Let me see. Mary H says, I too learned a lot from Prince Harry's book. Me and my kids were treated less in my family. I learned from experience, if your family treats you that way, others will treat you bad too. Yeah. Mary H, it impacts the way you relate to other people for the rest of your life. It really impacts that because let's say that canines are social creatures, right? And maybe that's why they stick so closely to humans, because humans are very social. It's so much a part of our DNA to be very social and to be part of the pack or the tribe and be accepted. And when you're not getting that from your family, it can put up a wall, or you can misread someone's intentions, good or bad, for the rest of your life. Because a huge part of your intellectual property comes from your family. That relationship is so important. I mean, how you problem solve and manage things, it really starts in the home, and then preschool or the daycare or whatever. But it all splinters out from there. But the place where you feel the most safe, or you should, is within your family home. And when that is taken away, it's a huge chunk of yourself that will suffer for the rest of your life. So yeah, thank you, Mary H, for sharing that. That is a great point. I really appreciate that. See, this book Spare is helping so many people, because even though it just, what do I have in common with a prince of the realm? Well, it turns out a lot. It turns out a lot of us have things in common with that prince of the realm. 1960 says, I am surprised that Harry had not tried to himself. Let me see here. His wife was truly miserable before. I'm sorry, his life, not his wife. His life. Did I say that? His life was truly miserable before Meghan. The horrible royal family and toxic British media expect him to leave his family unfathomable. And thank you, 1960, for throwing that big word at me this late in the day. But somehow I sailed through it. But yeah, you do make a great point, and thank you so much for sharing that. Okay, so I'm gonna move on because I do have a few other things to cover. Bonsoir, Charlotte, squatties and family. De gros biso. Vostus. You know what? I was just saying the same thing earlier today, Charlotte, and thank you, because I was just saying we don't say Vostos enough in this world. And even worse, I don't even know what it means, but thank you for thank you for for hipping us to that, because it's important that we vote too. As a matter of fact, now that I'm over 50, I'm not sure I can reach my votes too, but if I could, I would never be lonely again. That's for sure. So um not only do I feel like we need to say that like I say, I'm over 50. I'm not even sure I can still reach it. But oh man, I got to stop because my lips are dry and I'm about to split my lip laughing. Um, but it's just something about the Sussex squad that usually just puts me in such a good mood. So thank you guys so much for that, because, like I say, some very serious topics in this world, and it's a good thing to have a space or a forum where we can share our thoughts and our feelings. And so thank you all so much for that. And let me see here. Well, y'all know what I'm stalling for, and for some reason, I cannot find it. Oh, well. What? Where did it go? I tell you, I am going to spend an afternoon working on my files, because this just don't make no sense. I can never find stuff when I'm looking for it. Uh, it's just like trying to reach your votes too. Sometimes you just anyway. I give up. I can't find it, but oh man. Um, okay. Well, that was interesting. Let me see here. I am going to back myself out of this the same way I got into it. That is so weird, though. I wonder what happened to it. I mean, I know I didn't delete it. Oh, okay. Never mind. All right. So, oh, and I just asked myself, how in the world do I have like 860 videos? What have I talked about for 860 videos? Well, if that's an example of where these conversations have gone, I am shocked and appalled. Let me see here. Uh, oh yeah, yeah, I am. I told you my birth certificate was printed on parchment paper. In order to find one of the few copies of my birth certificate, there's different places. You can try the Library of Alexandria, but that burned down. You could try the National Archives. Um, they may even have a scroll somewhere locked away in a museum of American history. But I promise you, I have become quite long of tooth. So, um, okay, you guys, I'm going to continue. Let's go to the next thing. So, you guys remember Shorey Adasalu, and this beautiful, beautiful woman with the very, very beautiful voice actually appeared on uh, the archetypes. And you guys, I know the Oscars was Sunday, but I have been banging my head on the tape. I'm like, how did I miss this? How did I miss this? Ultimately, Adashlu hopes both gowns garner the attention she desires. not for herself, but to bring attention to the cause she believed deserve a global spotlight. This is about women who are barehanded fighting for basic human rights, she says. By taking this message to the ultimate red carpet, it will be seen by billions of people around the globe. And I'm so excited to make that happen. I think I'm more excited about this night than the night I was nominated. And of course, she's speaking about the women of Iran. The Iranian women have been fighting for their freedom for a long time. And things really came to like a head like, oh gosh, has it been a year already? But I forget the young lady's name, but she was taken into custody by the modesty police, and she was beaten so bad that she collapsed at a courthouse. And the government tried to say that she had a heart attack, but bystanders saw the police literally beat her with within an inch of her life, and she sustained allegedly head injuries, and that is what caused her death. She was probably bleeding on the brain or something. Terrible, terrible thing to happen. And she was from an area of Iran that is not so well. Iran is a very vast country, and people identify with their families and tribes and traditions like they will any place else. But in the West, we don't really realize how important your tribal affiliations are, um, which is something that I think most of us in the West are just not aware of. But so this young lady, when she went, I think it was to Tehran, to visit her family or wherever city it was kind of like a different atmosphere. Picture yourself being from Chicago and you go down to, let's say, Mississippi or Alabama, somewhere in the deep South, and what was okay at home, like wearing looser or, no, I'm sorry, tighter clothing or something to that effect, you don't really think about it. You just pack your luggage and go. Well, anyway, I'm pretty sure most of y'all remember the story. So that sparked somewhat of a revolution from girls as young as grade school, as old women, that have retired. All of them took to the streets. Even some areas, the men and even the police were siding with the girls fighting for their freedom. So she wanted a gown that was special, that would remind the world that this is what has been happening, and we don't. And it is no longer page one news. So Shure and designer, is it Kevin Hall? Um, I think Kevin Hall is the one pictured with the black shirt, but he did not design the gown. And so there you can see on the right, Shure um, Agdashlu. Oh gosh, I need to hear that name. Getting ready for the 2023 Oscars with stylist and creative director James Carroll. So they primped her and got her all pressed and everything to go out to the Oscars. And anyway, I did not want you guys to miss this because I missed it myself. But as you can see, women, life, freedom is emblazoned on one side of the gown, and Masha Amini, uh, Hajar Abbasi, and I can't see that other name there, but obviously those are three women who were martyred or sacrificed for the cause. And well, she didn't want people to forget about that. So I think the gown is absolutely beautiful, but there is definitely a story that goes along with that gown. Because, one of the things that takes me so long sometimes when I'm getting ready is that I pull on a thread and then other things come out. So Christian Siriano is the designer that created this gown. And this young man who looks like he's 12 years old, um, he's a miracle worker. So when Shorey Agdashlu received an invitation to attend the 2023 Oscars, she quickly realized this high wattage moment could be an opportunity to highlight an issue close to her heart. I was so happy to be invited, but what crossed my mind is that this was a chance to take the case of the Iranian freedom fighters to the ultimate platform of arts and science. The actress, who was nominated in 2004 for her supporting role in House of Sand and Fog, tells the Hollywood Reporter exclusively before walking the red carpet at the ceremony, I knew I wanted to wear something that would include the slogan of Iran's freedom fighters, women, life, freedom, as they continue was one of the biggest human rights efforts in history. So that is the story about that gown. But I'm not done yet because the designer, I have to say, his, ability to include women of all ages and all sizes should not be overlooked. So there she is, the esteemed actress. And, I have to say, too, this just goes to show instead of doing all of the stuff that some of these actors and actresses, men and women, are doing to try to stop the clock on their looks, I think she's elegant, beautiful, and powerful. Uh, just as she is, she represents women well. But I came across this Christian Siriano, who dresses make everyone feel they fit in. Do you guys remember the story a few years ago when was it how long ago was that? When Leslie Jones was looking for someone to make a gown for the Oscars, and none of the designers wanted to take her up on it. I mean, it's the Oscars. It's a big platform. It's a big night for her. And like anyone else in Tinseltown, she deserves to have someone within the fashion industry dress her. Nobody wanted to do it. Enters Christian Siriano. The designer has moved past his Project Runway fame and emerged as a legitimate force in fashion, that is, by designing for real women in the spotlight. How about that? When actress Leslie Jones couldn't find a dress for the premiere of Ghostbusters this summer, she turned to Twitter. It's so funny how there are no designers wanted to help, Miss Jones wrote. And Christian Siriano, the 30-year-old designer, I told you he looks 12, didn't I? The 30-year-old designer who came in onto the scene nearly a decade ago as a winner on the reality TV Project Runway, jumped at the opportunity. He replied with a pair of emojis, an open hand and a waving one. Yes, yes. You know how they always say, yes, queen. So he said, yes, Miss Jones wrote back. And so that is where she received that gown, was because his idea of inclusivity is not wasted. As a matter of fact, he designed this cobalt blue gown for Michelle Obama for the Democratic National Convention. And there he is with some of the models. As you can see, they come in all shapes and sizes, and he is quite adept at making people look beautiful and feel good about themselves. So did not want that to get lost in everything else that has happened lately. Okay. I'm going to step right there and jump into the chat so I can look at some of your comments. Now, Black Queen, you have a, oh, what is it? Let me click on that. Baron Squatties, please pray for Lucy Wynn's friend. Her friend flatlined, was resuscitated, but is not expected to survive. Oh my God. Yes, absolutely. We will pray. We will pray. And thank you for sharing that with us. My goodness. Oh man. That is, oh man. You guys, if you ever, and see, this is like I say, some of these things is part of life. And um, when you've experienced that before, you know what it means to the family. As you get older, you look at the news differently because when you're younger, you're just like, oh, those poor people. But when you are older, you're like, wow, that reminds me of my family or the family next door or something like that. So, yeah, it is a part of life. And that's why we have to send out our prayers and all of the positive energy possible to help carry them through. Let me see. Ruth Lopez. Mo, I disagree. I think Curtis won deservedly. I love Bassett, and I would have been happy if she won, but she didn't. Cary Grant, Tom Cruise, Peter O'Toole, so many great actors never win an Oscar. Ruth Lopez, you have just reminded me of something. I got a scathing comment yesterday from someone who accused me. Well, let me read it to you. This comment says, usually I agree with you. Jamie Lee Curtis, um, excellent. And well, Jamie Lee Curtis was excellent, missing a word there, was excellent and deserves the win. We saw all movies involved. All. You admit you have not. Perhaps you need introspection and investigation. I told you it was scathing. I mean, to not know Jamie was the most talked about and financially successful movie of the year is telling. Could say more, but I am hoping you broaden your perspective. Please. That's it. Please broaden your perspective, they say. Now, you guys, I know exactly what I said when I spoke about the situation. And if you go back and listen, I'm not even going to say the person's name, but if you are listening, go back and listen to what I said again. I hate when people feel like they know what I said. You know what I'm saying? But the facts stand for themselves. And how is it they say it? Facts don't care about feelings. I never said that um, Angela Bassett should have won. I said I thought for sure she would win. I saw her performance and I said, there goes the winner. But I never said she should have won. I never picked one over the other. And if the implication is that I'm favoring the black actress just because she's black or whatever your thoughts are about it, I don't know. I said I like Jamie Lee Curtis. She's been in the business for a while. And yes, we did speak about nepotism when we spoke about that topic. But I will say again that there were a lot of things at play. I never picked one over the other. That's why I said, to be fair, I have not seen the other movies in the category. I liked Angela Bass. Actually, I loved her performance. It was very moving, and I thought she should have won. But I didn't say that she should have won over anybody else. I'm just saying that I thought it was a winning performance. But that is why I said I didn't see the other movies. So I don't know what any of the other actors or actresses did. Um, but I like Angela Bassett. I like Jamie Lee Curtis, and I don't know what Jamie Lee Curtis did in that movie. She may have deserved it. I don't know. But you didn't hear me say that she should have won. I just said it was a winning performance. When I saw it, I said, oh, yeah, she's going to win. But that was just what I said after seeing the movie. But unless I have the evidence of having seen all of them, I don't know. I don't know. Um, and also went on to say that similar to what Ruth Lopez said, there's a lot of people who you would have thought had won an Oscar that has not. I'm aware of that too. Sometimes it's just not your year. Jamie Lee Curtis won for a lot of reasons. I'm not taking anything away from her performance, but with the Oscars is always more than a performance, which I said very clearly at the time. It's about more than just your performance. And I stand behind that. There's a lot of campaigning from the studios. There's a lot of old people that knew your mama or your daddy. All of those things goes into that vote. Period. So should Angela Bassett had won? I don't know. I just thought it was an award winning performance. I was surprised she didn't win. I thought this was her year, but the Academy thought otherwise. But please don't put words in my mouth like that. I'm not picking one over the other. I'm not just picking Angela Bassett because it's Angela Bassett. I'm just going by what I saw. And then I admit it, I didn't see everything. That's it. So I don't have any skin in the game because I'm not a voter. I'm not even a part of the academy. So I just know what I like. And I like both of those actresses. I like both of them. So I don't have any favoritism to one more than the other. I've always enjoyed Jamie Lee Curtis's work. And I think she's been in the industry for a long time. And part of the reason why some people vote the way they do is because they have been there for a long time. And other reasons may be they gave one hell of a performance. It could be one, two, or three of those things that makes that decision for an individual. So that's all I wanted to say. Okay, let me move on. Let me see. Okay. Let me see here. Oh, the dress. Yes. That I love that story. I love the story of Leslie Jones. I love that. Um, she got a lot of flack because people did not want to see women as Ghostbusters. Yeah, some people. When it comes to sci-fi genres or any movie, they're just like they don't want a black 007. So there's always going to be people that want the character to be very similar. If you guys remember, Daniel Craig got flack for having blonde hair and being too short. So it is a lot of reasons why they push back against a movie. And that's the point that I was just making. It could be several things. It doesn't have to be one individual reason why people vote a certain way or feel a certain way. Marcy Foreman became a member. Well, thank you so much, Marcy Foreman, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. And happy Wednesday to you. Very much appreciated. Uh, yeah, Donald Black. That too is another thing. By trying to tell somebody how a person should behave. Do you guys remember? Was it Pink? She was listening to someone's performance and she started shaking her head left and right. Well, if you have grown up in the Black experience, if you have grown up in the Black church, sometimes when you shake your head left and right, it just means that you're taking it all in. And there are people that do that. And I guess for someone who doesn't know And of course, I'm not saying that Pink is black. I don't know what she is, to be honest with you. But I'm just saying, if you have grown up in that experience or been around people, then you will see that reaction, and it can be misread. It can be misread as you disapproving of someone's performance rather than being moved. But I have had those times when I'm like, I cannot believe how good this person is. And I'm shaking my head. Or sometimes I'm not thinking anything. It's just a physical reaction. So, Donna Black, I agree with you. Don't tell somebody how they should react because you don't know what she was thinking. And Donna Black, I pointed this out too. With that camera angle, I'm not even sure that she wasn't applauding. With that camera angle, I haven't seen anywhere where they could see her hands to know whether she was doing a light applaud. Sometimes people pat their thighs or whatever. We don't know what she was doing, except she had a very surprised or shocked or whatever she was feeling look on her face. And that's her business. That is her business. Thank you so much for that. And again, thank you, Marcy Foreman. But okay, so I'm not going to go into the Oscar thing any further than that. Okay, one more. One Valentine says, Baron, people are so emotional on the Oscar issue, so we don't always agree. It's okay. We are here as part of the Harry and Meghan squad. We don't have to agree on everything. Well said. Thank you so much. Okay, moving on, because I still got a lot of stuff to cover. Although, when it comes to matters like this, there's a certain few people I just cannot pass up, like Black Queen. Although sometimes I'll be a little afraid to read. Look at a lot of those movies from the past that actresses and actors won and the award for, and they are trash. Yeah, it's a personality thing. It's a beauty contest. I stand behind what I said. There's so much that goes into it, and the performance is just one ingredient. It's just one thing, and that is always going to be a constant. That's always a fact. But yeah, okay. So Shelly L, this will be the last one on that subject. If that's what it is, the lady in yellow dress didn't smile either, and there wasn't a peep about her. Thank you, Shelly L. And that is very true. They singled out Angela Bassett. And you know why they singled her out? Because most people in that room, most people in the country thought that Angela Bassett should have won. That's why they singled her out. They singled her out because most people thought she should have won. And there's a lot of people that vote that haven't seen anything. They vote for the personality, they vote for the everything we mentioned. So, okay, let's move on. Thank you so much, Shelly L, for summing it up for us. All right, and thank you, Christian Siriano, for being so solid. Okay, and this right here, you guys. One more thing about the Oscars, but not about Angela Bassett. I started Mattel to make clothes for people who love sport and care about style. After a decade of working in cricket, I wondered why most sport clothing fit poorly and looked worse. Mattel reimagined traditional cricket whites, combining superior performance and classic style. So I was curious about this guy. I'm like, I hope Malala is, dating someone who is worthy of her. And you know what? I think she has come up with a winner. As a matter of fact, not only were they dating, but they are also married and have been married for a year. They have been married for a year, and somehow I missed that. So I found a best friend and companion, Malala's wedding in her own words. So let me see if I have that sound bite for you guys. But I think I have a sound bite for this. It's very short, but if I didn't save it, no biggie. But oh yes, I do have it.
Guys, this is Malala and Asir, and there's something really important that we need to tell you.
We've been married for 1 year, and on our anniversary,
Because this is serious.
we'd like to address some serious comments.
I can't wait for everyone who, not wrongly, fancies Malala's husband to say he isn't worth it when they find out he's 5'7",
Guys, I'm 5'11", okay? 5'11".
but not 6.
Paul Rudd is the sexiest man alive. Me and every woman I know. Actually, Malala's husband. People Magazine, if you're listening.
Shall I just read this one? Malala's husband is so hot. I can't believe growing up, people said boys wouldn't like you if you were a feminist. And then Malala said, actually, that's not true.
Malala's husband really just tagging along to all important events with her and taking pics must be so fun for him. Yeah.
From now on, can everyone please refer to Malala's husband as Malala's husband and nothing else? Or perhaps he can change his last name to Malala and make it easy for us because I have forgotten his name already. Guys, I thought we were calling him Mr. Malala.
This might be the worst one yet. Why does Malala overpack her suitcases every single time and make her husband carry them?
Stop it. Stop it. Stop making up.
Okay, so that is Malala and her husband reading some of the comments that have been made about them on social media. You can see she has her phone in her hand. And yes, Mo Shannon, I agree. Quite the treasure. But yeah, I'm glad she's happy. I am so glad she's happy. She is such a strong person, such a inspiration, and a very humble but incredibly intelligent young lady who was just trying to get an education has been propelled onto the world stage, and she has handled it very, very well. And I'm so happy for her. Yeah, and she wanted people to know, do not blame her village or whatever in I think it's in Pakistan. She said it's the Taliban. It is the Taliban that attacked her. It wasn't her own community. It was not people in her community. So we in the West seem to have this idea that anyone who's Muslim, that all Muslim men attack Muslim women and suppress them and such. But um, that is a stereotype. And yes, there are governments and warlords and stuff in different regions that seem to make up the rules as they go along. But there are also a lot of hardworking people who are not afraid of an educated woman. So, and that's one of the things she read. She said someone told her that if you're a feminist, that boys won't like you. Well, she found someone who likes her, and she's definitely a feminist. Sira, thank you so much, TRC Rug, for the super sticker. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Okay. So, okay, I'm going to move on. All right. Thank you so much for boring. Boring. How boring. This is what's left of the senior royals attending. And maybe that's why Charles decided to go ahead and give up that title. Because if you look at what they've dwindled down to, notice that the Duke of Gloucester is not in the royal procession. He's usually not. Well, you know what? When you look at the seating area, most of them are not there. Some of them are just so damn old that they can't even make it to these things anymore. Um, they are aging about as well as a beach bingo. Wait a minute. They are aging as well as a beach blanket bingo movie. So they just can't seem to make it. But yes, Mo Shannon, boring. I mean to tell you, this was sad. If this was a country music artist, they would call it Slim Pickings. That's like the name of a country music star, Slim Pickens. They would call it Slim Pickens because there's just not much there. There's no there. By the way, you guys, the Invictus game, I think you already heard this from Pedal. As you can see, I think some of my slides are out of order again. But the wave represents the Danube River, the River Danube. And also, there is right there. The wave that keeps showing up on our logos is actually the the River Rhine, not the Danube, the River Rhine, a symbol for connection across borders and for staying in motion. And if I recall, Petal said that the river flows from here to there and goes through like 6 different countries. Well, in the ancient times, that river was the highway. And I tell you what, guys, one of the reasons why those tours along the river is so beautiful is because a lot of those ancient fortifications and castles, well, those were actually tolls at toll booths. Those were ancient toll booths, and also a way to watch for approaching enemies. But yeah, people who wanted to trade or navigate the river had to pay a toll. Not unusual in ancient Europe. And then take a look on the right side there. We want to congratulate everyone who took part in our Invictus endeavor in Norway, a team of WIS from across the globe. What is WIS? I forgot. Came from across the globe together, and in just 1 week formed a close team that successfully trekked through the snowy Norwegian wilderness. Well, if you guys remember the story back in World War II, there were a team of soldiers, Allied soldiers, that were trying to stop the Nazis from finding the heavy water necessary to enrich uranium to make an atomic bomb. And so the heavy water is so dense that if you compare to the regular like surface water or whatever, it's only a few places in the world you can find it. But remember, the ice cube would actually sink to the bottom, whereas the ice that we make in our freezers floats on the top because the heavy water is like 6 times denser than regular water. So it's part of the enrichment process, and it was needed. And by them stopping them at that outpost, they were able to prevent the Nazis from creating. And most of the people on the team, they didn't know what the mission was, but they knew it was very vital to prevent the Nazis. Could you imagine if they had dropped an atomic bomb on central London? How that would have changed the war? Well, that did not happen, thank God. And so the Invictus team represents those soldiers who bravely suffered through the snow. They actually landed by parachute, I believe, and took skis to reach that outpost. So very, very cool. Okay, and then next, the Invictus Games 2025 host bidding shortlist, New York, Seattle, Canada, Winter Hybrid Games. So New York and Seattle are on the short list for 2025. So the Canadian Hybrid Games, I thought they already won that bidding. Huh? Okay. But anyway, I know I heard Petal say that the other day, that she's hoping that they come to, yeah. So for the summer games, Seattle and New York, of course. But yeah, wouldn't that be cool? And gosh, do I love New York. Seattle is so beautiful. If you guys never been to Seattle, it kind of reminds me of San Francisco, but it is beautiful. Let me see. Corona Rena says, Baron, I will be sobbing my heart out as usual on Coronation Day due to Princess Diana's absence. She should be here to enjoy her grandkids. I met the beautiful Diana in 1992. Imagine Harry's pain. Yeah, um, that is something that is going to affect a lot of people, and I hope rather than people just quietly going through the day, even if you're not watching the coronation, I hope that there will be some like gathering or something where people will remember Princess Diana because they're trying to write her out. And of course, as they say, the victor writes the history. Well, Charles and Camilla are the ones that are, you know, being crowned that day, and so they'll have the rest of their lives to try to figure out how to make her disappear from the history books. So thank you so much for sharing that, and I definitely won't forget. And I know that some of the squatties are going to try to flood social media that day. So I guess you know what, you guys get your slides or your screenshots, whatever you are going to use for that day, your pics, get them ready in advance so that we could really hashtag the heck out of the social media that day. You know, even something as simple as Remember Diana says plenty. Remember Diana. I like that. So maybe that should be the hashtag, Remember Diana. Thank you so much for that comment. Well, I saw this old pensioner emerging from a Bentley. And when I saw him with a uh, gentleman of African descent that looks somewhat familiar, I thought to myself, who is that old, decrepit old man who can barely seem to lift one foot in front of the other? Who is that dressed up like he's trying to audition for Elton John, the movie? Who is that? Who is that peculiar old man with childbearing hips and huge catcher's mitt hands? Who could that be? And then I said, blimey, that is King Charles III. That bent up, worn out old saddlebag of a human being, that is Charles III. What is he dressed up for? I don't know. I mean, are they casting the village people? What is going on here? Well, apparently he went to some event, and let me show you guys. So it says, let me see, King Charles arriving at the hall for Mountbatten Festival of Music. So I Googled that, and when I Googled it, look at what came up. When I Googled Charles arriving at the hall for the Mountbatten Festival of Music, look at what came up. Just like the other day when I Googled the Commonwealth Games, I'm sorry, the Commonwealth service, all I saw was green. Well, this time, all I saw was red, but not just the uniform red, but the Duchess of Sussex red. How about that? So Charles looks like he went by himself. I don't see a Camilla anywhere. And I could not believe that this was the other day, but I guess it was. It is still more about Harry and Meghan than it is about him. I mean, that is a screenshot. I promise you, I didn't do anything else. His Majesty the King attends the Mountbatten Festival of Music. I didn't do anything else. I just typed that in, hit Google, and all I got was Harry and Meghan. So You guys, if you can, do it yourselves right now and let me know if you get a similar thing. Now, my algorithm, of course, is going to go there, to be fair, but I just thought it was rather weird because I did not mention Harry and Meghan. Why does this keep happening? Why does this keep happening? I wonder. Isn't that something? At some point, somebody's going to be awfully sorry that they ran the Sussexes out of the country. Anyway, wait a minute. Okay, I got something out of order here, and I want to put it right. So give me a chance to put it right. I don't know how I did this, but it kind of goes along with that thing that I just mentioned. So give me just a second here. Oh, Lord, don't tell me I don't have it. Uh-oh, let me see. Because as I am so puzzled about that, let me tell you what else I can't seem to work out. You guys want to know something else that has been bothering me about that? Not only the fact that all I got was Harry and Meghan when I tried to find Charles, but what was Uncle Ben doing there? Can you guys tell me why Charles emerged from the state Bentley only to be met by Uncle Ben? Why is Uncle Ben in central London? Why is Uncle Ben at every event that involves the royal family in London? Is it the long grain rice? Is it the brown rice? Does he have a jasmine rice that I haven't heard about? But Uncle Ben keeps popping up, and I'm just trying to understand why in the hell is Uncle Ben at every royal event? Is he working as an usher these days? Anyway, if you guys figure that out, let me know, because I'm just asking for a friend. That's all. I'm just asking for a friend. So anyway, let me get to this smoldering heap of humanity. Prince Harry will attend coronation alone as Meghan won't be brave enough. Expert. Well, who is the expert? Take a look at the small print. Prince Harry will attend his father's coronation alone. His wife, Meghan Markle, won't be brave enough or strong enough, according to the late Princess Diana, former butler. Now, you know what? I wouldn't even bother. But when I saw Mummy's butler, I said, you know what? Okay, you got me. You got me. All you had to do was say Mummy's butler, and I'm on it. I started to see red. I was incandescent with rage. Mummy's butler. Mummy's butler. And if you notice in the background, I have pictures of Gangster Gangan, because Mummy's butler cannot seem to get enough of Gangster Gangan. Every time you turn around, he's opening his mouth because he wants more of Gangster Gangan. So royal family would collapse without Kate Middleton, as future rests on her, according to who? Paul Burrell, Mummy's butler again. He just won't shut up. Mummy's butler said, as a matter of fact, I'm not even going to say his name anymore. I'm just going to call him Mummy's butler. According to Mummy's butler, a former servant of Princess Diana, the future of the royal family is pinned, or is it pegged? Pinned on Kate Middleton and her role as future queen, the same as her late mother-in-law. Let me just say this. If the future is resting on Kate, who is Kate resting on? Because Kate looks tired. Kate looks bewildered. Kate looks worn and weathered. And I'm not saying she's, unattractive. I'm just saying that the shade, the meanness is aging her rapidly. I mean, she literally looks as old as her mama. This is her mother. This is Kate. Being shady and twisted and mean and cruel and trying to ruin your sister-in-law's wedding has taken a toll on her. If you told someone who, let's say, has been away from media for a long time, if you showed them that picture and you asked them, do you know who that is? I wouldn't be surprised if they said, Indira Gandhi? I don't know. Who is it? Is that Indira Gandhi? No, that's Kate Middleton. What? Yeah, that's Kate Middleton. Get out of here. No, it's Kate Middleton. Really? What happened? She's mean, cruel, shady. That's what happened to her. So anyway, this person is supposed to be saving the royal family. So let me give you a little refresh with Paul Burrell. Paul Burrell blasts Prince Harry as he claims Duke has forgotten what loyalty is. How old was Princess Diana? I'm sorry, how old was Harry when Princess Diana died? How old was he? How old was Prince Harry when his mother died? Because I'm going to remind you guys that any access that Paul Burrell had to Harry, his brother, and mommy's clothes that came up missing, mommy's underwear that came up missing, mommy's writing desk, antique writing desk that came up missing, any access that Paul Burrell had to those things and to his mother and to his brother and himself, all of that ended when Princess Diana died. So aside from letting himself in and out of the house at 3 a.m., there was no other access to Harry. So was he 12 or did he just turn 12? I think he turned 12 a week after she died, right? He was 12 and going to be 13 in 2 weeks. Okay, you're right. Okay, thank you, Marcy Foreman. Thank you, Adrian Burrell. So at 12 years old, a very formative time in any young man's life, that is when Paul Burrell no longer had access to Harry. So he seems to know a lot about Harry for someone that he hasn't been in the same room with since, what was it, 1997? So it continues. Diana's former butler, Mummy's servant, claims nothing was good enough for Harry, Prince Harry. Princess Diana's former butler, manservant, Paul Burrell, has spoken out against Prince Harry's behavior. However, the royal family saying he needs to take accountability for the stress he's caused them. Now, this is Paul Burrell. Like I said, he's trying to stay as close to Gangster Gan. He wants to be so close to the queen that he's trying to line his pockets with her image. I'll just say that, line his pockets with her image. Because anytime he speaks, I don't know that he ever says a word and doesn't get paid for it. And in spite of the fact that he's been accused of some terrible things, not convicted, only accused, in spite of that, the British media, he's a go-to person for the tabloid media. He's a go-to person anytime they need filler for their programs. Paul Burrell, now this is the other side of Paul Burrell, because there is Mr. Hyde and here's Dr. Jekyll. Paul Burrell says Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's book claims are accurate. Princess Diana's former butler, Mummy's butler, hopes Harry and Prince William resolve their differences. So right here, he's so familiar, Harry and Prince William. He's trying to get back into Harry's good graces because he thinks allegedly he thinks there's an opportunity with Harry and Meghan. But if I keep flattering them, if I keep appealing to their good side, maybe they'll let me in, allegedly, possibly. Mummy's butler addressed claims about Meghan Markle and Prince Harry on Good Morning Britain. That was July the 27th, 2020, right? So this was before the books came out. This was before the Oprah interview, right? And then over there it says, Mummy's butler says the Crown portrayal of Prince Charles' cruelty to Diana is accurate. Oh, Mummy, which side are you on? I'm going to tell you, Mummy's butler. If somebody needs you to come upstairs and pick up a piece of paper off the floor right next to where they're seated and throw it in the waste paper basket, that's when we want to hear from you, okay? Which is what Paul Burrell said about Charles in a documentary. If someone needs you to carry their corgis off the royal flight and wipe their bum and lick their feet clean, we will call you. If somebody needs you to go grocery shopping, we'll call you. Other than that, keep your mouth shut, because nobody wants to hear from Mummy's butler. Nobody wanted to hear from Mummy's butler since Mummy passed away tragically in that tunnel, mysteriously died in that tunnel in Paris. Mummy's butler. Now, right here, here's the shade of Paul Burrell, Mummy's butler, that I keep reminding people of. I'm going to do it again. Royal butler stole Diana's clothes in 3:30 a.m. palace visit. This was in one of those tabloids that are exalting him right now. The former royal butler, Paul Burrell, made a pre-dawn trip to Kensington Palace shortly after the death of Diana, Princess of Wales, to take away some of her clothes and valuables, the Old Bailey was told yesterday. Mr. Burrell, who is accused of amassing more than 300 items belonging to the princess, the Princess of Wales, and the Prince of Wales, and Prince William, was seen emerging from an alleyway at 3:30 a.m. shortly after her death. This man went to town the night that Diana died. He went to the house carrying 2 evening dresses and a mahogany box. He had reversed his Ford Escort close to the entrance of the luxury apartment, the prosecutor alleged. What were you doing there at 3:30 a.m.? And of course, it did not escape the notice of the security, but because he was such a fixture at the Kensington Palace, and I do believe, if I'm correct, that he said that he was there to do something for the family or for the Queen, which would come in handy later on, by the way. Now, let me show you the other Paul Burrell. Now, remember I said he was still hoping to get in good with the Sussexes. The television presenter was pictured being escorted by security as he walked through the market town where Prince Harry will wed Meghan Markle later today. Market town, of course, being the town of Windsor. And so there's Paul Burrell with that big, gigantic head of his, which, again, I have to say it, if your head is that large, how are you trying to creep into Kensington Palace unnoticed? How are you going to emerge from a darkened alleyway at 3:30 a.m. and expect people won't see all them jowls and chins and ears and jowls and chins and ears and nose and jowls and face and receding hairline? How did you think that you were going to escape notice? I don't know. Mummy's butler disputes Prince Harry retelling his mom's engagement ring story. Again, Paul Burrell, his service ended when Princess Diana died. Charles did not want him at Highgrove or any place else, Clarence House. Charles did not want him. Diana felt sorry for him and took him in, because when they split up, that was the end of him. But Diana felt sorry for him and took him in. Just a month after Prince Harry threw cold water on the romanticized story of how his brother William ended up with Princess Diana's famous sapphire engagement ring, a source of that story, Diana's butler, Paul Burrell, is on the counterattack. So he has gone from, oh, there it is. He has gone from, oh, everything they say is correct. Oh, yes, everything they said about Charles is correct. Harry and Meghan were right to move to California. Harry this, Harry that. Meghan this, Meghan that. Meghan is going to be the best thing that has ever happened to the royal family. And now, every time he has the opportunity, he is trashing Harry. Some would say trashing, others might say cashing in. Either way you look at it, Mummy's butler is trying to make himself relevant. Mummy's butler is outraged and furious with Harry because Harry wrote a book, The Spare, and did not mention Mummy's butler. Well, at least he didn't mention Mummy's butler by name. He just listed Mummy's butler by his position as a butler and nothing more, nothing less. Mummy's servant, the person who carries the Queen's corgis, the person who picks up trash off the floor, Mummy's butler, not Mummy's friend, not a surrogate dad to Harry, but Mummy's butler. Thank you, Black Queen. You always have a way with words. Thank you. How apropos. Okay. And so right here, Princess Diana's former butler says Prince Harry has dismissed and discarded him. Oh, I'm sorry. I cut that off right there. Princess Diana's former butler, Paul Burrell, claims Prince Harry, claiming he milked Diana's tragedy for money. Paul Burrell shared something accused of that, or has been accused of that. I'm sorry, I cut that off somehow. But yeah, so Harry said in the book that he was very angry that Mummy's butler and the Queen's corgi carrier had actually written a tell-all book about Mummy, that he was cashing in on Mummy. And Harry was furious about that. As a matter of fact, Harry wanted to hop on the plane and go and regulate, but he was advised to not say anything to him. And as far as I know, he has not said anything to him. But Harry was very, very angry and felt betrayed for his mother's sake and for her memory. He was very close to Diana. At least we thought he cared about her, but he's also an opportunist, and two things could be true at the same time. So here's Paul Burrell in New York. One of the reasons why Paul Burrell needs a lot of money right now, in my opinion, allegedly, is because Paul Burrell started a family with his wife, his ex-wife there. There they are in Times Square, New York. And so the Burrell family has a very lavish lifestyle thanks to the fact that he worked as Mummy's butler. And of course, eventually Paul Burrell decided, wait a minute, I forgot. I'm not really that much into girls. I'm going to marry a dude, which he did. And so I'm not saying that any of those people are dependents, but I'm just saying if there was a motivation to suddenly find yourself bad mouthing someone so that you can make yourself relevant and be on TV day after day after day, I would say having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mouths to feed is good enough reason. Maybe 6, because I'm assuming that his ex-wife remarried. So that would be a good reason to be so tenacious, even though you are suffering from cancer. I mean, he has been diagnosed with prostate cancer, and so he is speaking in some very fatalistic ways. Now, I don't know how serious his diagnosis is, and I really don't care. I don't care about him except for his um, rather innate way of inserting himself into everything that has to do with Harry and Meghan and Diana. He has disparaged Diana's memory. He has disrespected her in ways that cannot even be calculated. And also, he has fed into this media attack on the Sussexes, whether he is trying to speak up for them, and now he has turned into their enemy. Now he has made himself the enemy. So, whatever you want to call it, he has inserted himself into things that he should have just stayed out of. But since he's here, well, we just have to call him out, don't we? But yeah, so yeah, I think that was it about Paul Burrell. That's Paul Burrell and possibly his dependents. And by the way, I think that the boys, one or both of them, are studying in the United States or living in the United States. But either way, he's got a lot on his plate, no doubt. And if he is in his declining years, if he's in the last years of his life or the last months or days, whatever it is, how about you live it as an honorable man rather than going after the Sussexes? And I tell you guys something else too. Paul Burrell has this fantasy, and I'm not making this up, it sounds so strange, but he has this fantasy about sitting down with Harry and his brother so that he can talk to them about Princess Diana. It sounds so bizarre, but I actually heard him. Let me see if I can find that. But I actually heard him. It's so strange, you guys. I apologize. I probably shouldn't do this, but you would have to hear it to believe it. You would have to hear it to believe it. And when you hear it, you're going to say to yourself, have I just entered the Twilight Zone? Seriously, you will think that you have just entered the Twilight Zone.
Ignorant to PSA levels. I knew nothing about it, not until it hit me. And I must be one of millions of men in this country who've never heard of PSA. So now you do. Listen to what I'm saying to you. Your loved ones would want you to take a blood test. You owe it to them. You owe it to the people around you to live longer and be there for them. I love Christmas, and wrapping Christmas presents and giving is part of who I am. And wrapping them this year, I'm in floods of tears, thinking, will I do this again? Will I be here next year to wrap presents and stick bows on them and write tags and write Christmas cards? And I hope I will be. So my illness has focused my attention on telling the boys things before it's too late, telling them what they really should know. I know some of it isn't pretty, but if I leave this place and go somewhere else, they'll never know. And I think they should know. I've never met Kate. I'd love to shake Kate's hand. Members of the public out there have met her. Ordinary people on the street have met her. I've never met her. I would love to meet her. I would love to shake her hand and just say, you're doing everything perfectly well. But I would love to sit down with William and fill in the gaps of those years that are missing in his mind whilst he was away at school. He could ask me any question and I would be able to answer, because I don't have an agenda. I don't have an edge. I want just to say the truth. Some of the truth may be difficult, but if he doesn't know, he's not informed. And then you're informed. You have the right information. It's not someone else's agenda. It's not a slight. It's down the middle. It's the truth. So I'd like to tell them the truth. There are things that happened in their mother's world which they may have no knowledge of. And I think it just might fill in some blanks. And sure, I can ask them questions too, because if we ever sat down, I would say to William, this is within these walls and will never come out of these walls. Harry's discarded me, but he hasn't thought about all of those years that I spent with his mother in private, behind the doors of apartments 8 and 9, loving her, caring for her, watching out for her. I've been dismissed. You look at William and Harry as an 11-year-old and 14-year-old walking behind their mother's coffin. The nation saw that. The nation witnessed that. And our hearts broke for those two boys. Their path should have been the same path from then on. That's what Diana would have wanted, for the two boys to be stuck side by side for the rest of their lives. Her death should have glued them together forever, but it didn't. Wouldn't it be wonderful to see the boys repair their relationship and to be back where they should be back? The public would love that. I'd applaud that. I'd love to see William put his arm around his brother. But I don't think we're going to see that, because there are too many obstacles in the way. I'm complete.
What I miss. Woo! Can you believe it? Can you believe it? I told you guys you would feel as though you have just entered the Twilight Zone. Did I not warn you? Did I not warn you that Ron Serling would enter the screen and you would hear do 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 the Twilight Zone? Cue the Twilight Zone theme. It's just something I want to say to the boys. There are things that they don't know. How vague and ambiguous. There are certain things that they don't know, and there's certain things that, and it will stay in the room. I mean, it would never leave the room. And there's certain things that I just I just need to say certain things to them. You understand what I'm saying? And there's certain stuff that they don't know. Now, again, let's say it one more time. He has not been a part of Harry's life since he was nearing 13 years of age. Okay? And then there was huge swathes of their life because of the separation, where if he was with his father or with his grandmother, or if he was doing anything else, or and including traveling with his mother, at a certain point, Paul Burrell wasn't necessarily a part of it. But let him tell it. He sat up all night holding Diana's hand and braiding each other's hair and talking about boys and all that kind of stuff. That's Paul Burrell's version of things. But to the rest of the world, and as far as the best-selling nonfiction book that has come along, as a matter of fact, the fastest-selling nonfiction book in publishing history, is that right? Has come along, and it lists him not as Mummy's friend, not as Mummy's companion, but as Mummy's butler. Mummy's butler, a manservant in the house, a domestic, not to be confused with friendship or importance. And he was lucky to have that, because look at how it's been paying off. So anyway, you guys, I just wanted to, I know, I'm just sick of it. Do you hear me? Sick! I'm sick of it. Damn Mummy's butler. Okay, the monarchy is a weakened institution. If we keep pushing it, it will sink. After protesters heckle the king this week, is support for the royals crumbling? I say yes. Now, I added that photo with the large pair of scissors just to be shady. I mean, after all, if he's going to use something that is ergonomic, he has to have the proper size equipment. So when cutting ribbons, you don't just give Charles a pair of scissors. You have to give him a massive pair of shears. Something that could cut a tree trunk in half is what fits his hand. So I just paired that with the other photo. Excuse me. But a house divided, the trailer for The Crown. You know what, guys? Okay, so this is the big lingering question. And it really started yesterday. Well, you know what? I take that back. I don't know exactly where it started, but Anne brought it to our attention, and definitely, excuse me, she gave it a name. And now the name escapes me, but controlled, what is it? Controlled something. Anyway, when the government actually infiltrates a group of, let's say, anarchists or a movement, whatever you want to call it. But anytime there is a group that is trying to reach for social change, the governments always seem to find a way to infiltrate it so that they can find out exactly what's going on and even shape the narrative. So this is why I say it didn't really just start with this situation. It is something that has been around for a long time. And I'll show you what I mean by that. But controlled opposition, thank you so much. The controlled opposition is not new, especially not to the British. Abolish the monarchy, right? So you have like this lone individual. And so the reason why I selected that photo is not to single out that young man, but just to show you that that is his own homemade sign, which is such a contrast. So there may be a lot to what Anne said, and I do believe that there is that possibility, but I'm not ready to call it just yet, because I've actually seen Graham Smith interviewed, and he seems legitimate, but there's oh, I'm sorry, there's Graham Smith right there with the yellow sweatshirt hoodie on. That's Graham Smith right there. So he seems very legit, but take a look at the difference. There are the mass produced signs, the ones with the regular text, and then the ones that look like spray paint are also mass produced. And it's a way of branding something. So this is why I say there may be a lot of truth to what Anne had brought up. And even Anne was hesitant to say for sure that that's exactly what's going on. But there is always that possibility, because if you look at those signs, they have branding, because how many movements pop up out of nowhere? Well, and I think they've been around for a while now, but they have branding. Someone has actually taken the time to brand this movement. It's not a brand with like a hand gesture or something like that. It is more organized than most. Okay, so take a look at those signs, and you see there's just one handmade sign there. And then take a look at this. There are no yellow signs there. So there are other people that are protesting for various reasons, even if it's just their own principles. There are people that are protesting the idea of a hereditary monarchy. And then there are organized groups of people. But let me shed some more light if I can. Fourth officer allegedly fathered child after meeting woman undercover. Officer used alias Alan Bond, as in James Bond perhaps, while infiltrating the Socialist Workers' Party between 1981 and 1986. Inquiry hears. A fourth undercover officer who spied on political campaigners is alleged to have fathered a child with a woman he met while using a fake identity. Something Public Inquiry has heard. Let me see. Okay, yes, a Public Inquiry has heard. And of course, the officer used the alias Alan Bond, which is, I just thought about that. It does sound like he's trying to be clever, hiding in plain sight, instead of saying James Bond like 007, Alan Bond, while infiltrating the Socialist Workers' Parties between 1981 and 1986. The allegation is being examined by a judge-led public inquiry that is scrutinizing the activities of undercover officers who have spied on more than 1,000 political groups since 1968. Previously, it has been revealed that 3 undercover officers who spied on left-wing activists between the 1970s and 1990s have had children with campaigners they met during their deployments. And remember, you guys, most, if not all of these police officers were married and had families of their own. So the idea that this could be a controlled opposition, well, anything's possible. And so if anybody was thinking, well, how could something like that be true? This is how it could be true. This is how it could be true. Because they have done it before. It's an old ploy. I won't say which person close to Martin Luther King, but I'm sure some of you guys have heard that this very public person close to Martin Luther King was selling them out. Okay? One of those people very close to Dr. King was selling them out, sold them out. And so, Malcolm X, there were people within his organization that obviously sold him out. So it happens. So I wouldn't doubt by any means, I wouldn't doubt that something like this would be true. So it could be true. I hope it's not. I hope that this is a organic grassroots movement that is going to gain a lot of traction, but you just never know. You just never know. Okay. YM Droid says a royal source told me those are only scissors that would fit Charles' sausage fingers. and ham sock hands. Okay, well, thank you so much, YM Droid. And if it comes from a royal source, then it must be true. As a matter of fact, it is true. It is true because royal sources are never wrong. So yeah, thank you. Yeah, I am kind of losing my voice today, but I think I had a bit of reflux last night, so I didn't sleep so well, and that's probably the reason why, I'm sounding a bit scratchy today. I had a bit of acid last night, little acid reflux. Boy, I tell you, what's her name? Betty White. No, not Betty White. Betty Davis said, "Getting old ain't for sissies." And of course, she meant it in a very contemporary way that they used it at that time. But getting old ain't for sissies. And that's one of the things that comes with it is a little acid reflux every now and again. So I do apologize for my scratchy voice. However, I think it sounds kind of sexy. It has a bit of a Bonnie Raitt to it. You know what I'm saying? I get so nervous. You never noticed. Let's give them something to talk about. All right. So thank you so much, YM Droid. Sorry about that. All right. So that was from yesterday. Let's get back to today. Okay. So this is organic. So we have seen what an organized movement looks like. And you know what, guys? In spite of everything, GERD. Okay, there you go. Thank you so much. In spite of everything, you guys take such good care of me. I love that. Even if this event was orchestrated by a grassroots movement, or if it could be like a false flag type of thing, I'm not prepared to say one way or the other. I don't have enough information, but I'll tell you this much. There wasn't much of a crowd. Most of the people that were there, when I say much of a crowd of supporters, I should say, there wasn't much support. It seemed like there were more people in opposition to the royal family than there to support the royal family. Now, I watched several angles from several different directions. I have seen still photos. And at this point, when Kate got out the car, wait, let me show you again. When Kate got out of the car and she turned and waved to the crowd, there wasn't much of a response. There was not some big shriek or yell or anything like that. There was some booing. So I'm going to guess that those people there are mostly tourists and not mostly royalists. And if they're not royalists and tourists, then they're likely people protesting. And not every sign is yellow and black. If you look to the right there are signs that are protesting other things. But if you look there, most of the abolish the monarchy movement is concentrated in one spot. So there's still a story there. And whether it's organic or whether it's something more sinister, it's real. It's there. It's embarrassing. And if they are trying to control the message, if they are trying to put a handle on it before it get out of control, you have to make sure you get everything right. Because as I said, back in 2010, when this happened, this was a trip to the Royal Variety Show, right? Well, on the way there, they took the wrong turn. Charles, the driver, wanted to go a different way because, as the story goes, he didn't feel like it was very secure, that it would be traffic, and it's better to just keep moving, right? Well, unfortunately, Charles decided, oh no, good heavens, just go through the park. So they went the direction Charles wanted to go, and to put it mildly, all hell broke loose right up into the smashed windows. They threw some type of liquid on the car. Camilla's Farrah Fawcett Major's hairdo almost got messed up. So it was not, it wasn't a good situation. That could have turned ugly. And they're just lucky they escaped. Okay, so there's Uncle Ben. Somehow I put some slides in the wrong place, but the important thing is that we recovered. And I want you guys to take a look at this fun photo. Tell me when you see it. There's a bit of a double entendre here, and tell me when you see it. Now, the photo on the right, I just threw that in there as filler. But the one on the left side, the person who posted that said, I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. So tell me when you see it. There is a bit of a, well, I'm not sure what you would call it. Maybe, oh, you see it? Okay. Elaine Parker sees it. Yeah, Amy Girl can see it. All right, educates you too. All right, you see it. As a matter of fact, if this photo gets around, somebody else may see it. Somebody else might be riding around right now in a Range Rover, trying to get a handle on it. No pun intended. Okay, Mo Shannon, you would go there. I love it. Okay, let's move on. Simone Biles, happy birthday. Her birthday was actually yesterday. Somehow I missed it, but I want to say happy birthday to Simone today. Well, she's not a kid anymore, is she? She is all grown up and living her best life. And she is, most importantly, protecting her mental health and well-being. Very, very important. So I salute you and happy birthday, Simone Biles. And also, as usual, we are going to send our prayers out to the Sussex family and Mama Doria, always hoping and praying that they are safe and protected. And of course, that means we are coming to the end today. Thank you very much, moderators. Thank you all for your contributions. Thank you for watching Royal Sussex, and happy Wednesday to you all. So thank you all very, very much. I really appreciate you guys being here. As always, a pleasure. Let me see. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Can't believe we went 2.5 hours. That wasn't supposed to happen, but here we are. But yeah, so, and as usual, all of our love and affection to our two queens, our queen in California, our queen in heaven, who, of course, is overlooking everything from above, making sure that the Sussex family is well protected, right? Right. Okay, you guys, that's it for today. Thank you guys for staying up and staying with us. I really do appreciate it. And thank you for supporting Royal Sussex. And remember, oh, let me find that. Lauren Brown posted today, and I'm going to find it so I can share that with you. And let me see. I haven't seen it myself. Kind of a weird day for me today, so nothing bad. Just like I said, did not sleep well because of that. And so even though my eyes were closed, I don't feel like I was rested. So at a certain point this afternoon, I took a nap. Okay, official. Let me see. Anybody else got it? Wait a minute. I think I got this. Let me see. Aha! Got it. Wunderbar. Très magnifique. 8 hours ago. There we go. So let me get that link for you guys. I'm going to share this, copy, and paste. There we go. Okay. So there's the link for official Lauren Brown. I just posted it to the top of the chat. Did I? No, I didn't. Let me try it again. Replace pin message. There we go. Now it's at the top of the chat. So you guys, make sure you go and check out Lauren's latest video. And with that, you guys, I am going to bid you all a good night. Okay. Oh, what did I miss? Beautiful, Elaine Parker. Congrats. A blessing. What did I miss? I'm going to have to go back and look. You got a great grandson? Is that what we're saying? Or you figured out that sign that I showed? Which is it? I'm sure it's the great grandson, right? Oh, okay. My great grandson is 18 years old today. Wow, congratulations. Now that is a happy occasion. The age of emancipation in most municipalities that I can think of. 18 years of age. Very cool. Here in the States, that is the age of majority in most places. And you could also vote. You can buy, okay, I'm not going to tell you. I'm just going to say this. Don't let him come to the United States. Yeah, don't let him come to the United States because now he's old enough to do a lot of things. Okay, so very cool. Let me see. All right, I think we're good. We are so good. So happy birthday to Elaine Parker's grandson. All right, let me see. You're quite welcome, Elaine Parker. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Okay. So, any final thoughts before we go, you guys? I had fun as per usual. And I don't know, maybe what is it? Metamucil? I got to take something tonight because I don't want that GERD or reflux or whatever coming up on me. Yeah, got to do something. Maybe I should eat a bowl of Uncle Ben's. Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe I'll have a bowl of Uncle Ben's rice. Maybe a bowl of Uncle Ben's long grain. Speaking of long grain, did you guys figure out that sign yet? Oh boy. Oh man, you in trouble. You are in trouble. Whatever is going on, people just don't like you. People do not like you, and it shows. Maybe he can go and hang out with Tom Burrell and they could give each other enemas or something. Who knows? Um, it's like the portrait Norman Rockwell forgot to paint. Two old men exchanging enemas in oils. There you go. All right, I should probably go because I'm starting to get weird. And when I get weird, anything's liable to come out of my mouth. Like, what was it, a couple days ago when I said a mysterious, what did I say? Um, a something sailor. Was it mysterious sailor? Anyway, it sounded rather awkward. But I went back and listened to that again. God, that was so funny. I'm like, Baron, you got to straighten up and fly right. 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 Cool down, pop, you're gonna blow your top. That is very easy to do when you have those very strong African American lips. There you go. I knew they'd come in handy for something. Let me see. Oh man, I told you guys I'm starting to get weird. So before I get too weird, I'm gonna go. So I am gonna cue the Ginger Avenger, and our last word of the day is FK24. Thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. All right, shout out to the Tuskegee Airmen. Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. Now, is this an anniversary or something like that today? Is there something we should know? Okay, but anyway, thank you. You know what? I haven't seen that movie about them. I think Terrence Howard is here in it, so I'm gonna have to. I have to see that movie. Okay. Straighten up and fly right. Oh, let me see. Perrin, you need a endoscopy. You may have an esophageal ring. Everything dairy, fatty, citrus, garlic, onion, pepper. Well, hell, what is there left to eat? You name it will trigger reflux, diet change, and meds to control it. Oh, I like medications. What you got? What you got? I like medications. I'm like, what's her name? Oh gosh, Will and Grace. Yes, Karen Walker. Well, I'm Baron Walker. Baron Walker in the flesh, whose flesh is unclear. Baron Walker, I thought I smelled gin and regret. Why, Beverly Leslie, shouldn't you be making cookies in a tree somewhere? Okay, you guys, I'm gonna go because I'm about to get myself in trouble. So let me see. I need a last word. Let me see. Yeah, that's true. Old folks like their bland food, don't we? I like stuff that doesn't require taking my teeth out. Let me see here. And you know, I did get my teeth cleaned yesterday. Maybe it was all of that stuff I had in my mouth. She put fluoride on my teeth and she said to leave it for a half hour. And of course, all of that tartar and stuff she was scraping away. I mean, who knows? It may have been because I went to the dentist yesterday. Ooh. Well, if I and you know, sometimes when you go to the dentist, it is possible to get an infection, but I'm going to monitor the situation and make sure that that is not the case. Okay. Okay. Good night, lovely family, Sussex. Love it. Okay, Kim Peaches, thank you. That is perfect. So, Kim Peaches has found just the right words to segue us out of today's Royal Sussex. And I will see you all tomorrow. Hopefully, I will be on sooner rather than later. But yeah, that sounds good. Reba Henderson says, have a sip of cognac. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I'm sorry. Baron, sip a little Why do I keep saying cognac? Baron, sip a little not whiskey. Sip a little baking soda and warm water before bed. Just a little. Okay. Can I put I mean, I got some red wine in there. Does that help? Are you sure I couldn't chase that with a little Merlot? Okay, because I mean, Merlot is good for just about anything I could think of. But okay, I'll try the baking soda thing. All right, well, I'll have a sip of something. I can assure you that. Okay, you guys. Yeah, that doggone daylight savings time. I thought they were going to pass a law that we didn't have to do that anymore. No wonder there was still just a whisper of daylight earlier today. I mean, just a little while ago. Just a whisper, a hint of daylight. Not much, just a hint of it. Oh, okay. Okay. That helps too, doesn't it? Yeah, and you know what? I noticed the past couple of days I've been I have been doing that for a couple of days. More so than normal. So there is obviously something going on, and I mean to get to the bottom of it. Okay. Hot water without any sugar works well also. Huh. Okay. Interesting. Wait, cookies and cream? Yes, I'll have some cookies and creams before I go to bed. Some Oreos, maybe? Or some cookies and cream ice cream. Yes, that's it. Cookies and cream ice cream. Zyrtec and red wine. All right. All right. Got something stronger? Bourbon. That's what I'm talking about. Sipping bourbon before bedtime sounds better. I like that one. I like that one. A little bourbon. Yeah. Well, I wonder what William would do on those nights he couldn't sleep. What does William do on those nights he can't sleep? Fire up the old Range Rover and hit the streets, I'm sure. Okay. Yeah, of course. That's the problem with it, is that it attacks you in your sleep. It erodes your esophagus. Yeah, it's very dangerous. Actually, it can lead to more serious things. So yeah, if this doesn't clear up, I'm gonna have to do something about it. No dairy. Yeah, I don't think I eat much dairy. Yeah, I don't think I have much dairy. I don't even have any milk or anything. So, but I do drink a lot of coffee though, and coffee has acid. Um, but I always say, as long as there's coffee, the world is a much safer place. So, coffee, because murder is illegal. Okay, you guys, thank you so much. I am going to bid you all a fond farewell, And I know y'all think we're going to drag this out, but but we're done. We are so done. So love you guys. Good night. All the best to you. And happy birthday again to Elaine Parker's great grandson. And we're praying for Lucy Wynn's family friend, something like that. We'll be praying for that. And happy birthday again, Simone Biles. All of that and more. So thank you so much. Yeah, but I'm not brave enough to go without coffee. I'd rather grab the end of a sharp sword than have to give up my coffee. I'm Gypsy Rose Lee, and I love it. That's how I feel about my coffee. I'm Gypsy Rose Lee, and I love it. Oh, yeah. Don't tell me not to drink coffee. I simply have to. If someone takes a spill, it's me and not. No, if somebody takes a sip, it's me and not you. Who told you you're allowed to take away my caffeine? Dun, 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 dun. Don't take away my coffee. I simply have to. If somebody takes a sip, it's me and not you. Who told you you're allowed to take away my caffeine? That was fun. Dun, 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 dun. It's like butter. It's like butter. Okay. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I've never been to jail before, but I tell you what, taking away that coffee, I may have to get a good lawyer. Yeah. Well, we'll see. But yeah, I don't want to be like this, so I'm gonna have to do something. All right, all the best to you guys. Love you all so much, and I will see you all tomorrow. Let me see. Cue the Ginger Adventure. Go, Ginge. All right, and we did our last word, didn't we? Okay. 1992. Everybody loves a winner, so nobody loves me. Oh, man. Do you love me? For 25 years, I washed your clothes, cooked your meals, and picked your nose. And you asked, do I love you? People, People who need people are the luckiest people in the world. Tom Bauer is a very special person, a person who gives himself in a muss and talks crap all the time. No more hunger or thirst, but first be the worst kind of people. People who need people are the ugliest people in the world. So long, you creepy old man. All right, you guys, thank you. I'll see you tomorrow with one person, one very ugly person, a person that's evil in his soul. Says he was half, now he's old. No more hunger or thirst, but first be the worst kind of people. People who need people is the ugliest, most pitiful, most despicable, and the most where is it at? Most wrinkled neckable, longest faceable, non-talkable, incandescent with rageable and jealousable people in the world. Good night, everybody. Love you.